Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo, what's going on? I am Scoots Brunson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right. You tuned into another episode of the Viewers Anonymous podcast, where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movies, and TV straight out of Hollywood. What's going on with you, bro?
Can't call it, man. Another day on the yard, man. Just trying to figure this thing out called life. You know what I'm saying? Had to push the pod back, because the kids wanted to hit up a little game. And I'm gonna tell you now, man, probably gonna end up being a trend. Hey, look, hey, I'm telling you, I felt like that's when you start to feel like, yo, my kid's grown up on me. Like going to the football game and don't want nothing to do with their pops.
Oh yeah.
It's like yeah, it's that time. So but yeah, man. But just I'm making it out here though, man. How you feeling? Everything been good with you?
Man, everything is great. You know what I'm saying? Had my fantasy football draft yesterday. I'm feeling good about my team. You know what I'm saying? Had a great time with the guys, man. Went out, had a whole draft party and shit. Even got into it with my little cousin, man. We did some one-on-ones. You know what I'm saying? Had to show him I still got it. You know what I'm saying? Felt good about myself, man. Even though he did catch the pass on me, which is, you know what I'm saying, kind of lame, but he one-handed me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we had some fun, man. It was, one of them things where you don't really get we talk all the time because, you know what I'm saying, we always on the party chat on the game, but like, you know what I'm saying, being able to kick it with each other, man, be around each other and shit like that was dope. And then, you know what I'm saying, I had my boys with me too, so, you know what I'm saying, they got to hang out and shit too, even though they was none, you know what I'm saying, not interested at all. Speaking of, you know what I'm saying, your kids not wanting nothing to do with you, they didn't care nothing about what was going on. Chicken and they was good, you know what I'm saying? And then they was on their tablet or on their phone, and that's it, man. But yeah, I feel you. I feel what you're saying, man. Because right now, you know what I'm saying, we in the same house, and they don't want nothing to do with me. They in there on the tablet or watching TV and doing their own thing, man. So they definitely getting older, man.
Oh yeah, man. Same here, man. They in their rooms on their
Mm.
phones, and they're just like, yeah. I get it though. You know what I'm saying? We were the same way, you know,
Oh yeah, for
coming up,
sure.
coming up in this world, man. And because then what it does for me, I don't know if it do the same for you, but it has me like reflecting on those times, like damn, man. You know what? When I was 13, 14, 15, I was the same way. Like I
Man,
was the same way.
the only difference between me and my kids is they got a lot more technology than I do.
Yeah.
So like the way that they are with video games, like it was kind of like that for me. Like I would play and like, everybody around the neighborhood would play. And we would play to the point to where like we was going over somebody else's house. Everybody had their own controller. And if we couldn't go in the house,
Yeah.
like let's go in the garage and you know what I'm saying, get the TV and connect everything there and we'd play. But like most of the time, like bro, we was all out there together playing football or playing basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like we was actually outside doing outside activities. Like they'll like my kids will go play, of course, and then they'll be outside for a little bit. But it's like you'll see them outside playing, and the next thing you know, like they all on the patio on their phone.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the difference, man. It's the technology because like
Hmm.
we were more outside, you know what I'm saying, shooting ball, throwing football in the yard. Like I even used to do the shit where you would think like when I didn't have nobody, you know what I'm saying, at the house and it'd be like just me, I'd be in
Hmm.
the backyard, I got damn
Yep.
launch the damn football in the air and go chase that bitch down.
Yeah. I used to
And it's
take
like
I used to take it with one hand, spin it up, and try to catch it with the other hand one handed. I used to alternate.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then it's like now people making TikTok videos of this shit now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And them
They,
throwing the ball 40
yeah.
yards or whatever and going to go catch it themselves. And
Mhm.
I'm sitting here thinking I'm crazy doing this shit by myself, but now it's like it's a thing.
Yeah.
So, but like yeah. And then we used to, you know, who got next on NCAA. You know what I mean? We'll be in a room, maybe about 6, 7 of us. Like you said, people had their own controllers, and we would just sit there and we would play. That's the old PlayStation days. You know what I'm saying? The original PlayStation. So
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then, well, that and no, 2, because 2 came out probably like around like my sophomore year, maybe somewhere in there, somewhere around 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
That's when like PlayStation 2 came out. So yeah. So it was more PlayStation 2. And then it was just it was on from that
Yeah,
point
that's
on.
that's when game day was the shit, man.
Man, you remember Game Breaker?
Yeah.
Yo, the
Yeah.
meanest stiff arms of all time.
Sure.
Man, you can stiff on dude, he'll go 17 yards.
I seen a dude on YouTube with a Blades of Steel jersey. I mean, the Blades of Steel shirt on. I was like, bro, I ain't seen that in forever. Have you ever played Blades of Steel?
No.
On
That's why I was like,
yeah,
it
it's
was
a
on what?
game on Super Nintendo NES.
Oh, see, that's probably why.
That's when like double dribble and Joe Montana football and all that shit was cool. Blades of Steel
Yeah,
hockey game everybody played. Everybody played with Wayne Gretzky.
man. That's one thing that's dope as fuck. It's like the vintage shirts. And I
Mhm.
like how they doing like I see they got some where like the old NBA Jam shit,
Yeah,
and like they using like current players. And like
yeah.
I saw one today where it was NFL jams, and they had and because of my algorithm, they know I'm a 49ers fan. So they
Mhm.
had the 49ers on it, it had George Kittle and Debo on there.
That's dope.
I was like, yeah, but that'd be a dope shirt to get. So
That's,
I love like vintage, like the vintage stuff. Like these kids, they think it's like they think it's cool, but
mhm.
like they don't know the sentimental value like we do though. Like
Right.
they just think it's a cool shirt. Like for us, it's like yo, like y'all don't know what this means to
Live through
us.
that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, like we lived through it to where it was just like, I mean, NBA jams was just, but he's on fire.
That
You
was
know what I'm
the
saying?
game everybody wanted to play, bro.
That's man, that's literally like like that's where the Steph Curry shit started was fucking NBA jams. Because when your player was on fire, you pulling up from anywhere because you know it's going in.
You get
Like
the
it
ring,
didn't matter.
shoot it, and it went in.
Yes, all
Sure,
time, man, all time.
sure. Man, yeah, man. But definitely though, like, but they do the TikTok shit. They do all that shit, man. Whatever you could do on the phone, that's what they on that shit, man. Um, it's funny seeing them, you know what I'm saying, like do little shit, and it's even funnier because like my cousins do content creation and everything, and then my cousin Jair, he do like a whole bunch of TikToks and shit. So like when they see him do that shit, they, you know what I'm saying, like I catch them trying to like find ways to do their own version of what he doing and shit. Or like you'll see, like I'll be scrolling through TikTok and see them reacting to his video or something. So I think that shit is super cool. They, you know what I'm saying, that they able to have that connection with them. So that's one of the dope things for me, you know what I'm saying, being able to like cause when we was younger, you know what I'm saying, like my cousins was always around me. So now it's like they got a chance to, you know what I'm saying, like be around them and shit like that. So it's a dope little move, man. Little generational, you know what I'm saying, pass downs, man. Um Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have possibly one of the greatest segments of all time from any podcast, but definitely one of our favorite segments of um possibly our favorite segment, man. We like to call it what we watching. You ready to get into it?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
What we watching?
What we watching?
All right, bro. What you got this week, man?
All right, man. I got two. And one is actually something that I watched. I've been pushing this what we watch it back for like maybe like 3 weeks or so.
hmm
But it was released on Disney Plus, and I was able to see, which is so wild how this shit and I kind of like, I mean, I guess you can call it fell off, which is kind of weird. But I'm just meaning like when you talk about the MCU. But I watched Guardian of the Galaxy Volume 3, man.
Yeah,
Um and I don't even really, I mean, I'm pretty sure it probably was just in the theaters at the same time, but it was just released on Disney Plus at the same time. And
hmm
it's crazy because usually anything, MCU is, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't call it a cash grab, but it's something that just always, made a lot of money.
yeah,
And for them to go ahead and release that shit on Disney Plus at the same time, I'm not mad at it, but I'm just saying it's just how things have changed in the last couple of years. It's
yeah,
so wild. But I was able to watch that. And I thought it was pretty good. I wasn't mad at it. It was, centered really around Rocket, really,
hmm
about how he ended up becoming, what he is, how he is the way he is. And, they basically had to go save him, but they had to go back to where the people who created him, because he basically was like in a coma, basically. And they had to kind of like, go back and get some stuff that would like revive him or whatever, whatnot. But the villain ended up being like the person who created him, basically.
yeah,
So they took that route. Gamora's still on her shit to where she's like, yo, this version of me don't know you. Well, not Rocket, but to oh, what's my dude name? What's Chris Pratt name in there?
Star Lord Peter.
Star Lord. Yeah, because he's still trying to,
Mhm.
win her back, and she's still on that. Yo, I don't know you, my guy. Like that Gamora that you want don't exist. So,
Right.
you thought there was a little part where you was like, she might give him a little shot, and she's like, nah, for that shit. So, I thought the movie was pretty cool. But I will say it definitely wasn't the best one. I would probably say with the three that's out is probably the last. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, but you know what I'm saying. But it wasn't a terrible movie. But you know what I mean. But it was pretty good. And so the other movie that I watched, I actually just finished it today. I started it yesterday and I finished it today. But I'm not gonna go long because you already spoken about it. The Flash, the new Flash movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they put it on Max.
Yep.
I just finished it. It's like the only thing is, but we already had the discussion about Ezra Miller. There's no need to get into all of that. But like, it just seems like everything is time travel now.
Well, you,
It's
I know
like it's like they running out of shit, and it's just like the
it's.
MC.
I look. I know exactly what you mean, and I know how you feel about it. But it's definitely not that. I think the guy that's in charge at DC right now, that's kind of putting everything together, was the guy who originally did Guardians of the Galaxy. I think his name is James Gunn.
James Gunn.
Yeah. But he's responsible for like the Harley Quinn Birds of Prey and all that. And I believe it's like the 4 hour long Justice League movie. It might not be James Gunn. It might
No, no, that's Zack Snyder.
be Zack Snyder. That's who I'm talking about. Zack Snyder is the guy that's putting everything together or whatever, that did the Justice League movie. James Gunn has moved over, I believe, to DC now. I want to say his name is James Gunn. That's the only name I'm thinking of right now. So I'm pretty sure it is, but don't hold it against me if it's not. But James Gunn is, what I'm saying, I know he did the Harley Quinn joint. He did the Suicide Squad, and then now he's doing the whole basically the whole DC thing now. They kind of putting it in his hands because of the success he had with Marvel. But the time travel thing that you're talking about is actually one of the biggest storylines in DC, which is the
Hmm.
Flashpoint storyline. So the Flashpoint storyline is when the Flash something happens where like he get real mad and it of course through different iterations and changes of why he got mad, but the base of it is still the same. He pretty much like he gets super mad, he runs, and he ends up running so fast that he finds out that he can go through different alternate universes. He could time travel, and he figures out other factors of his power. And so um with this, the flashpoint that they use with this is kind of weird because he ended up just going back in time. The other flashpoint that they had, which is like probably one of the most popular ones, is where he goes into a whole nother universe. So the flashpoint that he jumps into, he ends up jumping into, and it's like everybody is different. Like Batman is not Bruce Wayne, is his dad. Wonder Woman is a whole nother person. Superman is a whole nother person. It's like Power Man or some shit like that. Like, so it's a total group of people, but they not superheroes, they villains. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
um and that is like one of the, like I said, Flashpoint is like the biggest, one of the biggest storylines in DC. So they kind of, you know what I'm saying, wrote it in their own way. And I thought it was dope because they kind of introduced um Supergirl into the mix, which is something that they really needed with the failure of the Wonder Woman movie. They definitely needed a female character. And then, you know what I'm saying, of course, Superman, the whole dilemma with that, that's gonna help with that. The Batman thing I thought was dope because they brought Michael Keaton back, you know what I'm saying, the whole nostalgia of that. Especially if you've been watching, you know what I'm saying, DC movies for as long as we have, you definitely know the importance of Michael Keaton being Batman in the, you know what I'm saying, in the past universe. And then even when they had George Clooney pop out,
That's what I was about to say. Like,
and
George Clooney popped up at the end.
yeah, so um I thought that was super.
Dude, they showed Christopher Reeves in this joint, yo.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
So what they did was like this is something that they did with what show is that? God dang it, what show is that? The DC Titans, the Titans show that they just canceled. Beast Boy
mhm.
went into this thing called the red, where it's like he's connected to, you know what I'm saying, the earth and all, because he could change into different animals and shit like that. So when he goes into it, it's a part where he sees like all of these different versions of DC characters and movies and TV shows and shit like that. And so that's what they kind of did at the end, where he was running in the circle, and like you seen the Chris, like you said, Christopher Reeves and one world and all these other different versions of characters that they had. They kind of did the same thing in this movie just to kind of help with that nostalgia, to kind of bring back, you know what I'm saying, like the older viewers and the people who've been watching it for so long. And then with some of the newer viewers, I think it kind of added a mystique as to why, you know what I'm saying, some of these people were in here and who they are and what's the importance of that. So I think they did a good job with it. Like I said, the movie was pretty decent. I didn't really have a big issue with it. It's just for me, I it ain't no real villain in the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And you know how I am. The villain makes the movie. The better the villain is, the better the movie gonna be. And I felt like they could at least did like the reverse flash instead of him having to kind of weirdly battle himself or whatever. That
Yeah.
the whole, yeah, the I'm cool with that. So yeah, that's really what that was. And then with Marvel, the the alternate timeline thing, that's something that they do throughout just the whole thing with Marvel. Like Marvel got different Earths, so it'll be like Marvel 646 or Marvel 16 or Marvel 119 or some shit like that, and they all got the same characters, but they all got different iterations of that character. So like when they did that, you know what I'm saying, like it all makes sense if you understand the comics, or even if you like watch the cartoons or any of that shit, or if you just know about the storylines, you kind of know, you know what I'm saying? Like those are huge storylines within those comic worlds. And that's why they use those, because that's what kind of brings those fans together to come see that. Like with Civil War was really like a way bigger event in Marvel than it what was portrayed, you know what I'm saying, in the Captain America movie.
Hmm.
Um, because like Civil War has something to do with the X-Men. It has something to do with like Fantastic Four. It was really based on X-Men because of the whole mutant thing, but like because of superheroes and some other shit, and so like they added all that in it. So the way that they did it in the movie was pretty cool, but it's like the storyline is way longer than what they portrayed in there. Even the Ultron shit, like the Ultron is a huge event. Um, the the Justice League movie I thought would have been better if they would have added certain characters, but they of course couldn't do that. But yeah, but that's all that is. That's just them taking like those important parts of comics and using those like major storylines and just making the movies. And then, of course, it just so happens that since Marvel is going through the alternate universe thing, and because of the success that they're having, DC is definitely going to try to follow that the same way that they tried to follow how Marvel did the Avengers, and now they want to bring out the Justice League. You know what I'm saying? You only as good, like I said, as your villain. And because Marvel is the best villain of all time right now, DC is gonna do whatever they can to kind of match that. And that's where that kind of, what I'm saying, came from.
Cool, cool, man. So that's what I got, man. Just that's on HBO Max right now, The Flash, and I watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 on Disney Plus.
Man, so I've been on a Hulu kick recently, man. And I can't get away from it right now. So the both of mine are TV shows. The first one is a show called Container Homes. And if you like me, you one of them people that lay down and just throw something on TV, just to watch. Usually it's like HGTV or Food Network or some shit like that. Um, but Container Homes is pretty dope because these people they actually plan out a house. They get to plan out their own house, and the people that they get make it out of like shipping containers.
Hmm.
So what I'm saying, I thought that that was dope. And then like I got to go down the rabbit hole of looking into shipping container houses, and it's super interesting. But they are really really cheap to make, and I think this is a great idea to use shipping containers to, what I'm saying, create houses and stuff like that. Like this is an awesome idea. Some of the houses that I've seen them make is magnificent, man. Like I've seen them make some dope ass houses with these shipping containers. So that's the show. Like I stayed up all night watching this shit, man. This shit is super fun. So that's one of the shows, and then the other show, of course, is What We Do in the Shadows, season 5. I think I'm on episode, let me check, make sure. I don't want to say the wrong episode right now. Um, I'm on episode 7. Episode 8 came out, so I got to catch up. But What We Do in the Shadows new season. This is like I've explained it multiple times, but somebody had put it to me in a way better, what I'm saying, since they said this is basically like the Office but with vampires. I mean, it's not on the same level as The Office because of course The Office is like up there, but like I think when we look down the road, like it'll be somewhere in that vicinity. But yeah, this is like The Office, but it's vampires instead. This shit is fucking hilarious, bro. There's nothing in this show that if you watch this shit, you gonna get bored of. This shit is fucking comedy. So that's what I'm watching, man. They both on Hulu. You can both check them out. What We Do in the Shadows and then Container Homes.
I ain't
Um,
mad at it.
for sure, man. So today, man, we showing love and giving flowers to one of the greatest producers, directors of all time. This man has really defied the odds of filmmaking. Born in Knoxville, Tennessee, March 27th, 1963. Um, he's created some of your favorite films. He's put people in these films that nobody would probably even give a chance to at the time they were in films. Even gave them, what I'm saying, kind of a bunch of people they first starts. Even, what I'm saying, put people in positions to do some things that they probably never would have thought they would have been able to do. Today we're talking about Quentin Tarantino, man. He's responsible for films like Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, From Dusk Till Dawn, Django Unchained, um, a few Grindhouse films, and the most infamous Kill Bill. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the one that really put him on the map. And also, you know what I'm saying, kind of gave Uma Thurman her, you know what I'm saying, her like shine, her first glimpse into stardom of Hollywood.
Man, listen. Like Quentin Tarantino is like one of those. I think the misconception of Quentin Tarantino is like him kind of like creating this genre that really didn't exist at the time.
Right.
And I think what's so dope about him is just that, and he said something that was so simple, where it's like you when you hear it, it sounds simple, but to go out and do it is
Hmm.
totally different. Like he said, coming up in the time that I came up, because he did an episode on Rogan, and he was just like, I'm looking at all of these movies because everybody know the famous story. He worked in a video store. He's watching all of these movies, and he's like, "Yo," he was like, "I'm not seeing any other type of movies that I want to see, so I'm just gonna write my own shit and you know what I mean." And he was like, he would see bits and pieces in movies, and he was like, "Yeah, I want a whole movie to be this way though." He's like, "I see bits and pieces of shit that I like, but I want a whole movie to be that way."
Hmm.
And so for him to just be, what I'm saying, working in a video store and just like, yo, I'm seeing bits and pieces of shit that I like, and I wanna, what I'm saying, create this whole genre and just go out and just do the shit. Now, obviously, he had friends in the industry that was able to kind of, get him through the door and all types of shit like that. So that's always helpful. But like when you look at like his films and the oddness in his films, which makes it to me kind of stand off the screen. But I think the most important thing about his films is, and it's probably could be credited to his stepfather,
Hmm.
is the music selections that he used.
Okay.
I think that is something that really takes his films to the next level because
Yeah.
I think the music selections in your movies are very very important, and I think the music that he chooses at the time that he chooses it really be off the chart, especially like a movie like Kill Bill, like the whole whistling shit, the bang bang song, like I never heard this shit before, but then at the same time the shit fits so well. And then for him to have a relationship with the Wizard, because the Wizard was involved in the Kill Bill. Like I think Wizard was like the music person for that soundtrack, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. So it's just like I think Quentin, I think his vision is so fucking dope, and for him to basically, do the screenwriting for Reservoir Dogs and Reservoir Dogs to hit the way that it did, but we all know. I mean, I get there. I'm rambling right now, but what he was able to do with fucking Pulp Fiction, I don't think people understand how significant that film is. But I'm rambling right now, man. But what are some of the things that to you that stands out about Quentin Tarantino in his films and the genre that he kind of started?
Um. Well, for me, Quentin Tarantino, he does a great job with exaggerations,
Hmm.
and especially when it comes to action, when it comes to like fight scenes or anything with blood, gore, anything like that. Like he does a great job with the exaggeration, and it's not too far fetched with the exaggeration, right? Like remember in Kill Bill, like I forgot who it was. I know they were in like it might have been even the whistle song scene when they were in the go-go, you know what I'm saying, bar fighting, and she cut somebody's head off and there's like blood just constantly just shooting out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's one of those things that like you see it and then it's not like, when you see it, you're not like, oh, come on, man. Like what is this? It's like when you see it, you like, oh, that made everything that much better. You know what I'm saying? Because if you go back and watch that scene, like that's a great fight scene. Not only that, he took he took it a step further by making it um Uma Thurman being a woman and doing this action movie. Because there's not too many action movies at the time where women were the lead or where women were the ones that the movie focused around and she was just like this complete and total badass. Um, Even when like they did something like using Vivica A. Fox and had her doing the fight scene. We've never seen Vivica A. Fox do action. Before
Yeah.
this, you've never seen Vivica A. Fox do action. Vivica A. Fox was just like this super just fine ass black woman that was in movies that what I'm saying niggas was fawning over until you seen her, what I'm saying, going at it with Uma Thurman in this movie. And even so much so like it was so well choreographed to like when her daughter walked in, they all, what I'm saying, they just both stopped and just was, you know, made it seem like nothing happened. And right when she walked in, they, what I'm saying, get back to going at it. So I think that his whole thing with the exaggeration, like everything is exaggerated. You know what I'm saying? Like even in Django Unchained. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like it is a bunch of scenes in that movie where they show a lot of exaggeration. You know, the when Django goes to damn, I forgot what the dude's name is, but he walked up to him and what I'm saying, they go in there and uh King is talking to the slave master or whatever. And what I'm saying, the slave is walking around with Django and she like, yeah, you free? He like, yeah, I got my freedom. And he got the blue suit on and shit looking crazy.
Hmm.
And then, what I'm saying, they find the dudes that they looking for and he just start whooping one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then
Yeah.
blood splatter on the cot. Like, that's a huge fucking exaggeration because it's like, come on, bro. Like, he ain't hit him that much for that shit to happen. So, but just seeing that, you know what I'm saying, and just knowing like the way that he stretches certain scenes and make, what I'm saying, and make them sometimes more important than it has to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, or the gunfighting Django, you know what I'm saying? They shooting shit, but everything is flying around. Where it's like, okay, either they shooting and missing a lot of shit, or they just shooting through a bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, or even if you go from dusk till dawn, I think that's another one that is where his exaggeration goes. Like the dance scene with Salma Hayek. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that they focus in on certain, what I'm saying, moves that she does or focus in on certain body parts of her. I think that, what I'm saying, like he finds a way to snatch your attention in moments where they really shouldn't be snatched. And I'm not saying the dance scene with Selma Hayek is one of them because they could have put her ass on the pan shot wide. We still would have been just watching Selma Hayek. But you know what I'm saying? Just in with certain things, he likes to, what I'm saying, single it out. He likes to isolate it. And it's like you pay so much attention to it that the scene just once again it gets that much better.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that I think the whole point of the exaggeration shit is I think it's like giving you like an alternate like vision on
Mhm.
something to where it's just like movies are really meant to really take you from reality in a sense. It depends on what you watch it,
Right.
but I think that to do the things the way that he do them, and he get a lot of pushback for a lot of his films being violent or
Hmm.
whatever, which I think is really kind of crazy because I think that the whole world and society that we live in is violent.
Yeah.
So it's just like, how can you really criticize Quentin Tarantino for his movies being violent?
Because he
Um,
somebody.
yeah, but I think I think what a lot of people get pissed off by Quentin Tarantino is the fact of like he literally don't give a shit.
Right.
Like a lot of the stuff that he done, like a lot of people get mad at him. He's like, yo, I really don't care. Like if this is what I want to do, like I'm gonna do it, like regardless.
He's a
And
true,
like, say what?
he's a true artist.
Like he really is. And he's like, if I can't do it the way that I want to do it, then fuck it. Like,
Mm.
he was telling the whole story about Pulp Fiction. And so he was talking to, and the one thing that does suck is the fact that he is tied to Harvey Weinstein because a lot of those movies came out with Miramax and shit. And so he was talking to Harvey, and he was like, "All right," he was like, "Write down." He was like, he knew from the rip. He was like, "I want John Travolta, what I'm
Right.
saying, to play this part." But Harvey was like, just write down a bunch of names and we'll see who we could get or whatever. So he said he wrote down like 10 names or some shit. And Harvey was like, take off this name and take off John Travolta. He was like, yo, if I can't have John, I'm just gonna take the movie to somebody else. He was like, that's who I want. Because at the time, John Travolta was everybody thought he was done.
Well, I still felt like he was top notch because around this time,
The
what
only thing he had out around that time was the Look Who's Talking movies.
when was
Because
Face?
Face Off didn't come out till like 4 or 5 years later.
Okay.
No, because Pulp Fiction came out in like 92, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So
No. 94.
so 94. And
90,
so
92
and
is
Face Off didn't come out till 97.
yeah, 92 is Reservoir Dogs.
Yes. You're right. So they came out in 94, but that gave him that resurgence because before then, John Travolta was kind of like everybody thought he was like, he's doing movies with Christy Allen about a fucking baby talking. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the executives were saying. But he
Yeah.
was like, no, like this is who I want, point blank, and this is what I'm doing. If you're not gonna give me what I want, I go somewhere else. And
Mhm.
like he was a person who really kind of like put his foot down and was like, I have a vision for what I want, and I'm gonna do it the way that I want.
Right.
And if I can't, I'll take it somewhere else. And I think that kind of pissed people off because he didn't follow the certain format that a lot of people follow. Like there are some people who like there are some things that I want, but if I can't get it, all right, whatever. Nah, Quentin, like I'm fighting for what I want, and this is what I'm gonna do, and this is how I want to do it. And there wasn't a lot of people like that, and I think that's some of the shit that piss a lot of people off about him. And I think one of the most interesting things about that interview was like he really do not fuck with damn Linda Lee, but Bruce Lee widow,
Mm-hmm.
he don't fuck with her at all. Cause I mean we all know she tried to sue him
Mm-hmm.
for Bruce Lee's portrayal in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't think you've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right?
I seen some of it. I know exactly what you're talking about though. I remember the character that played him. I seen
So
and the scene is actually in the trailer too, or part of the scene is in the trailer too.
yeah, part of it is, and basically he was saying like what it was so what's his name? So Brad Pitt, I think his character name was Cliff. But what people got to understand about Cliff, because Cliff was a stunt man.
Mm-hmm.
But before he was a stunt man, he was actually in a war. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was in the Vietnam War, some shit like that. So he actually really killed motherfuckers for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the whole thing and all of the stories about Bruce Lee it was well known around Hollywood that Bruce Lee hated stuntmen.
Mm-hmm.
And so they said that he used to do shit like when they're doing stunts, he would actually like, when you do the whole kick, you're supposed to like kind of, miss them and they supposed to,
He would break
yeah.
their ribs and shit.
Like he said, he really used to hit them because he just had a disdain for them. And his whole thing was how I'm going to portray him because he even talked about it. He said this thing about Bruce Lee, one of the best martial arts people ever lived. Like he admitted that, but he was like, but at the same time, he's like Bruce Lee ain't no killer. He's like Bruce Lee can, yeah, he can whoop your ass when it comes to martial arts type shit. But he was like, but if it comes to Bruce Lee having to kill somebody, he's like Bruce Lee ain't killing shit. And he was like, his whole point was Cliff was a real killer.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just like, if they really scrapping, and then he was talking about how Bruce Lee was only like 5'5", 5'6", like a.
This is the thing. This is my thing with this, right? Because I heard about this shit too, that he was saying this, and I get it. I get his point, right? Like, dude was in the war killing people. He was in the war killing people with guns. He was also in the war killing motherfuckers who didn't know Jeet Kune Do. They weren't as trained and skilled as fucking Bruce Lee. Okay? Bruce Lee would whoop dude's ass. Hands down. This is not a fucking question. I get it. Like, because this, to me, I feel like the whole Bruce Lee thing is like when people talk about like Michael Jordan or like Jerry Rice or like the, what I'm saying, like when we talk about the GOATs and shit, right? Like, yeah, if they did that shit, what I'm saying, like in this era, man, they, if they was here now, they wouldn't have been able to do it. Let me tell you something about Bruce Lee, bro. The reason that Bruce Lee was so well touted was because this nigga wasn't a fucking joke. Like, this is the thing that I don't understand about people, and when they talk about dudes who like do martial arts and shit. These motherfuckers fight for a living. That's like if a nigga, like, I heard somebody say one time, like, yeah, that UFC shit cool, but like in a street fight, that shit won't go down. Yeah, it will. This motherfucker fights for a living. There's nothing, there's no possible trick that you have in your bag of tricks in the streets that he's gonna see and be like, oh, I never seen that move. But no, he's gonna telegraph your punches. He's gonna beat the shit out of you with either his feet or his hands. He might possibly choke you out. You know what I'm saying? He could roundhouse you. Motherfucker Superman punch you. It's a bunch of shit that this motherfucker has in his repertoire that for him is practice. This ain't even the sparring section. This is just like hitting a punching bag to a motherfucker that just fight all day. Yeah, I'm sure Cliff is a badass. I'm sure that if Cliff had a 9mm on him or a knife, he could probably, injure Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee, all he needs to do is literally swing a foot, and Cliff is going to fucking buckle. We have to. It's just certain things, man, that we gotta quit hating, bro. I get it. You mad because she didn't, want you portraying Bruce Lee in the movie, and that's cool. But don't go disrespecting Bruce Lee like that, bro. Don't do that. I don't give a fuck how tough Cliff was in Vietnam. Okay, he not fighting 10,000 Bruce Lees. Let's just keep it 100, bro. They was shooting guns. They might have used a knife here or there. A lot of the shit is covert tactics. Like, these niggas it wasn't like they were sitting on one side, the Vietnam was sitting on one side, and they went to the middle of the field and was like, all right, let's bang it out. It was none of that. These niggas was using weapons. Come on, man, hand-to-hand combat, you think Bruce Lee is gonna lose to a nigga in the military? No, bro. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. This nigga's a fucking martial arts master. This nigga literally is famous for a punch where he can hit you within an inch and break your shit, possibly explode your heart. And this is some shit that niggas are saying, oh, he's not a killer. Yeah, he's a fucking killer. We just heard the story about how he broke the fucking stuntman's rib with a kick. You think he ain't gonna do that shit to Cliff? Come on. What the fuck are we talking about?
Oh man. Nah, but like once upon a time though, man, but like I say, all of his movies are weird and odd.
Yeah.
But I've always been, I wouldn't say fascinated. I just think that stuff that's not surrounded, but kind of around Manson is intriguing, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And to add that element to that movie, you know what I'm saying, where it really kind of came out of nowhere. Like, the movie didn't even really feel like it was going in that direction, and all of a sudden it goes to this fucking old movie set, and there's a whole bunch of women out there, and fucking Charles Manson is there. It's like, fuck, right. Like the shit really kind of came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? But his movies are kind of like that. Like Pulp Fiction, like the dialogue in Pulp Fiction is so cool. And what was so cool about it, and he actually was speaking about it, was he was like, one thing that he, loves to do in his movies is like having like these dialogues or like a discussion about something and like putting it in the movie. And like, there's different scenes where what's their name? Where Vincent and Jules would have like these conversations. And it's just like, what's so relatable about it is like that's what we do in real life. Like if we with somebody that we really fuck with, like we get into the like these discussions about shit.
Yeah, like
and it end up being like a rotating theme. Like the whole thing, like with Jules and Vincent, what end up being a reoccurring conversation was when they went to go talk to the dude about fucking Marcellus, and then the dude came out the bathroom and just started shooting. This motherfucker shot like 10 shots, didn't hit a goddamn thing. And Jules is all convinced of like, yo, this was a miracle. And Vincent like, nah, this ain't no miracle, man. You just can't shoot. And so like they're going back and forth, you know what I'm saying, about if this is a miracle or not, or if the dude just can't shoot. And like, I thought that part of it was really cool, but also like this really, in my opinion, really launched three people. Like all Sam's stuff up until this point, he was a co-star. Not even really a co-star. Like a lot of his stuff, he was just in the film. You know what I mean? Like he was just in Jungle Fever. He wasn't the main guy. Like he was just in
films.
Yeah, like he was just in fucking Goodfellas. You know what I mean? But he wasn't like, what's my movie? Eddie Murphy. When he tried to rob Coming to America. Like he was just in Coming to America.
Yeah.
But like him like really like kind of being a guy in Pulp Fiction really kind of shot him out of here. And like this really kind of got John Travolta back out here. And I think this really put Uma Thurman on another level. You know what I'm saying? When it came to when you're talking 1994 and like Bruce Willis, you know what I'm saying? He's coming off like, this is around the time of Die Hard and shit. So he's really kind of already doing some shit. But another person, Vin Rames, I think after this, he really kind of skyrocketed. So I think Pulp Fiction, well, he didn't skyrocket, but he still, he's another one of those people who he's in just a lot of shit. Now, don't get me wrong. He has an impact of the movies that he's in. But he's just in a lot, like he's in the fucking Mission Impossible shit. Yeah. All we talk about is Tom Cruise. But he's Tom Cruise right-hand man. And all of the Mission Impossible.
It's a lot of motherfuckers in Mission Impossible that they don't talk about. Tom Cruise is just the only motherfucker that I don't know. There's something weird about Tom Cruise. Like any movie that he's in, nobody gives a fuck about nobody else.
I can see what you're saying, because when you look at I don't know if you watched the Top Gun Maverick, like Miles Teller did a great job in that movie. You know what I'm saying?
You don't even remember the nigga's name from the original Top Gun.
Well, Goose because he was Goose's son.
No, I'm talking about the actor's name.
Oh, the actor's name? Nah, I don't remember their names. I don't remember their names, but yeah.
Who else is in Eyes Wide Shut? What was his wife's name in Eyes Wide Shut?
I don't know. Was it Nicole Kidman?
Probably was, but the fact that we got to question it. Like when that motherfucker in movies, bro, it just be Tom Cruise.
I mean, okay, nah, because I'm biased. I'm biased to Vanilla Sky, but
yeah. I mean, you know that movie too. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, just a casual motherfucker is not gonna give a fuck about nobody else but Tom Cruise. I feel like with Quentin Tarantino, what he does is he does a great job of giving everybody their time on film, and he finds a great way to make them shine. Um, the perfect example is in Django. I think Django is a masterpiece from Quentin Tarantino, and I feel like it's a masterpiece not just because of the topic that's being covered and the maturity of the film in a sense too, but just in the fact that every character in that movie had their time to shine. There's a moment for every character in that, well, every main character in that movie. You know what I'm saying? From Candy to Steven to Django to King, like all four of them are really like the main guys in this movie. And it's weird because usually in movies like the star is one person. All four of these dudes got their shine.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like you can literally go pick and choose who you thought was, you know what I'm saying, the better star in that movie. Some people say that's one of Samuel L. Jackson's greatest, you know what I'm saying, greatest times. Some people say that Jamie Foxx did a hell of a job in it. Some people say that Leo did a hell of a job in it. Other people say, you know what I'm saying, that damn, I'm blanking on my man's name. Um mm. I gotta say his name because that's my dude, bro.
Are you talking about Christopher Waltz?
Christopher Waltz, bro. Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz, you know what I'm saying? Him
Christoph, yeah.
doing that. Even when you go to Inglorious Bastards, just look at Inglorious Bastards, having Christoph Waltz and Brad Pitt in that. You know what I'm saying? Like Christoph Waltz had a moment in Inglorious Bastards. And this is supposed to be the bad guy of this movie. He literally had a moment, and you know what I'm saying? Brad Pitt, he had his moment. You know what I'm saying? Like even with the characters who weren't necessarily the focus point of the movie, because really they weren't even real. Well, Brad Pitt wasn't even really the focus of the movie. The focus of the movie was on somebody totally different. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it really wasn't even on Christoph Waltz either. He just so happened to be, you know what I'm saying, a high ranking member in the movie. So that's why he got, you know what I'm saying, his time. But just in general, like he finds a way to even make a, you know what I'm saying, guys like Brad Pitt or Christoph Waltz, make them kind of like not even co-stars, more like damn near guest features. Because if you go back and watch Inglorious Bastards, which is one of my favorite Tarantino movies, um, and you really watch, like Brad Pitt ain't the dude that pops up in this movie. Brad Pitt pop up in this movie like I think maybe like 30 minutes into it, maybe 15 minutes into it. And even then, it's not even him by himself. He with a bunch of other dudes. You know what I'm saying? Christoph Waltz, you kind of see him a little bit earlier because that's kind of where they at. But for the most part, like everything is really surrounding oh my god, what's her name? Hold on. I gotta find her name. Um is it Melanie Laurent? I think that's her. But you know what I'm saying? Like she's one of the ones that, you know what I'm saying, get that shine. She got the, you know what I'm saying, she helping with the theater and all that other shit. And like that's really kind of what it's focused on. So it's like the way that he sets everything up is so, I don't want to say weird, but it's just, I say different. It's so different because like if you take a movie like Inglorious Bastards and you look at this, right, and you see Brad Pitt, you see Christoph Waltz, um, you know what I'm saying? You see all of these big names, and then when you go watch the movie and you barely see them, but the movie is so captivating and so good that it's not, you don't even feel like you took a loss on this because that's how great the story is. That's how great, you know what I'm saying, it's shot. That's how great the acting is in it. Like everything about the movie is so good. Like you seeing Brad Pitt for only 15 minutes, probably total, out of a fucking damn near 2-3 hour movie, you're not even pissed about it.
No, because I think that you first of all you brought up a great point by the fact of like he does really good about sharing the screen time. with people, and I think that's why there are so many people who are so willing to do a movie with him because they know like how great he is with this. Like another
Mm-hmm.
great example is Death Proof, which we done a double feature with Death Proof and Planet
Planet.
Terror.
Yeah.
But like first of all, for him to take a person who is a stunt person in Zoe Bell and
Mm-hmm.
turn her into an actress for this fucking movie. I've never heard of any. I haven't done the research on this, but I've never heard of someone because she was the stunt devil for Uma Thurman in the Kill Bill movies,
Right.
and then to turn around in 2007 and actually make her an actress in there is dope as fuck. But another thing that's dope about Planet Terror is there are two storylines in the movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the first one is a totally different group of girls where he's fucking you know, he's stuntman Mike or whatever. He's at this bar and like he's he's just a stuntman who goes around and just kill women with his cars and shit.
Right.
And then like so you get this whole and then like I say, you don't even this is another thing. You don't see Kurt Russell to about 30 minutes in the movie. It's
Exactly.
all with the girls. It's all the girls. And then for him to be able to bring Sidney Poitier in there, you know, Sidney Tamala Poitier, Sidney Poitier's daughter,
Mm-hmm.
they even bring her in there to play Jungle Julio or whatever. But you have this group of girls, and then you bring Stuntman Mike in. He killed those girls, but then what's dope about it? He talked about that scene of when they ran the cars into the girls and they showed it like three times. They showed one girl the tire go up her face,
Mm-hmm.
showed one girl leg pop out. He was just like he's real big on he hates CGI. He
Mm-hmm.
hates it. So he
Yeah.
was like to do that scene. He was like we had to do it three times, and he was like what he did was for them to make body doubles of the girls because he was like, I don't want no CGI shit. Like I want this shit to look as real as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So he used, life size dummies of the girls to get that. And then, like I say, he had to do it three times to show you all three of the girls' deaths or whatever. And then Stuntman might go to the hospital. Next thing you know, you see another group of girls. And then these girls want to do this whole, what I'm saying, with Zoe Bell is riding on the hood and all this type shit. And then he's tried to kill these girls, but these girls are able to turn around and fucking whoop his ass. But
Mm-hmm.
like for him to be able to, and like I say, like the way he put stories together, his writing is unfucking matched. That's number one.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy. And then even when you go back to Pulp Fiction is jumping timelines in the middle of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like we see Vincent get killed fucking an hour 30 in the movie, and then the last thing we see is the damn robbery scene of Vincent and Jules at the fucking restaurant.
Right.
Like we seen this motherfucker die. But like the movie is jumping timelines, but
Mm-hmm.
just for him to write a movie that way, man, like his writing, man, is so really like out of this world and really unmatched. And I know a lot of people want to get on him, you know what I'm saying, about how much he uses the N word and all this type shit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really think it, to me, like, don't get me wrong. Like, sometimes, all right, it can be like a little OD. They're just like, okay, in Pulp Fiction,
Mm-hmm.
when Jules and Vincent pulled up on him, and he was like, when they shot Marvin in the back seat when Vincent shot Marvin in the back seat by accident, and they come over there, he was like, do I look like? He's like, do this look like a nigga storage? He was like, why you got a dead nigger at my house? He was like, this ain't a dead. He just kept saying it. It was like, okay, like maybe like right there, we didn't really need that.
But you know what though?
But
What I think though is that the fact that he does add that in there, because I remember this was the same issue that people was talking about with Django.
Django, yeah,
The fact that he does have that in there, you have to realize like at the time when we're dealing with these characters and we dealing with these, you know what I'm saying, the way that they written in the films and everything else. In Pulp Fiction, I'm sure that the dude was saying that he was probably what, like Italian or some shit like that.
Yeah. Well, it says that he is Cherokee descent, Irish, and Italian.
Right. So he probably leaning more towards the European side of everything, right? So 9 times out of 10 in those days, yeah, that's what they were saying. That's the type of language that these motherfuckers was using, especially if these motherfuckers are in the crime. These motherfuckers ain't fucking angels. These are the type of people that talk this way. Same thing when you know what I'm saying, you look in Django. They was complaining that they had all these white people saying the N-word, and I'm like, yeah, because that's what they said. This is slavery.
Slavery.
Yeah, what do you think? You think they'll talk about, hey, black, come here? No, they was vile. This is supposed to make you feel this way. And I think that's what he does. He does that by being like, he does a great job of writing shit and filming it to portray these moments that get your emotions out, right? Like even if you watch Kill Bill, you find yourself rooting for Uma Thurman's character the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh yeah,
you really
definitely.
find yourself rooting because they giving you the story of what's going on, right? And then not only that, you know she's been done wrong. They even sometimes even show you some shit that's been done wrong to her. So now you like, I hope she kill all these motherfuckers. So you know what
Well,
I'm saying?
okay, but do you kind of feel for Oshirin when you find out her backstory? Because when they did that whole part where they showed like Oshirin's thing, but what was dope about it, he showed it um in that Japanese cartoon type of shit, like to flip the whole fucking shit that
I mean,
way.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the way that he does it is he's bringing emotion out of you. And to me, that's why I said he's an artist. Like that's what art is supposed to do. Art is supposed to make you feel. Art is supposed to make you think. It's supposed to be a conversation piece. It's supposed to be able to do multiple things to where when you go see a movie, because I feel like if you go see a movie and you just come out like, yeah, that was a pretty good film, you wasted your money. You mean to tell me you're not talking about the movie when you leaving out? You ain't talking about certain scenes when you leaving out? Oh man, such and such did a great job in this film. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the type of shit that he's trying to bring out of the people that's viewing this. And I feel like, okay, yeah, and we've seen how many mob movies to where they were saying the N-word and nobody batted a fucking eye. Nobody mentioned nothing about the shit. I'm sure in The Godfather, they was calling a bunch of people niggas.
Well, there was only like, from what I remember, there was one scene where it was kind of like they was all sitting at the table trying to figure out like this new plan or whatever, and they were just like, "Oh, what we got this? Oh, we'll just leave that to the niggas,"
But that's what I'm
and like
saying.
that was it.
And then that's it. And even then, if you even think about that, like, yo, that's some shit that was at the time, shit around the same fucking time. That wasn't even you know what I'm saying, that far back compared to when that shit came out. So when you see shit like that, like I've seen a bunch of movies where they got a white dude saying the N-word and calling a black person the N-word, or even talking about black people in a certain way and using the N-word. Nobody says shit about it. I think because of the fact that Tarantino not only has these movies that's doing it, but I think he does a great job of giving, no matter who you are, no matter what color you are, no matter if you're a man or woman, whatever the case may be, if you are going to do a great job, he's going to put you in that position. He's going to put you there. I remember when Django came out, they had did like a round table thing, right? And one of the stories, now everybody knows it, but at the time, this was just something that was just getting out. And at the time, they was asking Leonardo DiCaprio, like, how did you feel playing this character? And he was like, yo, he was like, this was real tough for me because when I grew up, like, you know what I'm saying, I was around, you know what I'm saying, a lot of black people. I had black friends. Like, I even grew up kind of in that culture. You know what I'm saying? Like Leo, he pop lock, he do all that shit. Like we know Leo, like Leo fuck with black people. And he was like, so it was difficult to me. He said, and I had to pull Sam to the side and was like, yo, I'm not really okay saying this. That nigga Sam was like, hey, are they paying you to do this? He said, yeah. He said, then go out there and say it, motherfucker. Like, what's the problem? This is acting. This ain't you. You portraying the character. You go out there, you do your motherfucking job. Let's get this money and let's go. And he went in and he showed his ass as usual. He Leonardo DiCaprio. That's what he do. But it's like, yo, when it comes to movies and shit like that, bro, especially when it's, like timepieces or even, just portraying certain people during, certain points in history. It's like, yo, if that's what the fuck happened, you can't be mad at that moment. You can't be mad at that's what happened. Now, don't get me wrong, you can be, because that's what it's supposed to make you feel, but it's not that person's fault that this is what happened. This motherfucker is just portraying this situation. Now, I could see if every fucking movie that he was, putting together, it was a bunch of people calling black people niggas and niggers and shit. And then it'd be like, all right, this shit suspect. But this ain't every fucking movie. This ain't even every fucking movie a black person is in. Because I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, Samuel L. Jackson said nigga way more than anybody in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, he did. And then, I remember that story. I remember because Sam told it on some podcast, some interview or something. He was talking about how he was talking to Leo, and he was just like you said, like, are they paying you to do this? And he was like, yeah. He was like, why then, nigga? Let's go do this shit then. Like, he was just like, like, fuck it, like, it is what it is. But I mean, look, I don't have, like, to me, I'm not gonna say I know, because I never met Quentin Tarantino a day in my life. I'm just saying from what I could see, and when you look at his track record, like, there are a few people where we tie them to someone.
Mm-hmm.
You got Spike Lee, you got Denzel, you got Scorsese, you got Robert De Niro. Well, in this case, Quentin Tarantino is Sam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they got a rapport. So there are some actors who are tied to, certain directors, where the directors keeps going back to these people. And he even said on the interview, he was like, Sam is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
He was like, me and Sam, like we really, like, tight like that. And so it'd be different if it was a situation where it's like, well, Quentin Tarantino repeatedly do this, but he don't have, like, black leading roles and, all types of shit like that. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You got Sam and Pam Grier and Jackie Brown. And you got
a lot of the shit that he does in his films anyway, even if you watch them, like, a lot of the shit that he does are inspired through blaxploitation.
Yeah.
Even to his exaggerations. That's shit that you would see in blaxploitation films.
That's what Jackie Brown is. It's just a modern day blaxploitation film.
That's what Pulp Fiction is. If you really go back and watch Pulp Fiction, that's really what Pulp Fiction is. It's a modern take on blaxploitation. So, like you said, same thing with Jackie Brown. Like, that's what he does. He finds a genre and he finds a way to make it his own version of whatever that's, like, his own vision is put into it. And to me, I'm like, yo, you have to give him credit for being as creative as he is and refreshing as it is to see something, different compared to the shit that we see all the time. Like, everybody can't be PC. Somebody has to pull the plug or throw the grenade so we can get something to talk about. Because if not, then this shit is gonna tank.
Yeah. And I think what's special about him is when you watch a Martin Scorsese film, you know what you're getting. You know what I'm saying? And when you watch a Quentin Tarantino film, you know what you're getting when you go into it. It's either you fuck with it or you don't. So it's kind of like, and also another one who's starting to be that way is Jordan Peele. Like, you know what you're getting some weird sci-fi shit.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, we know what we're getting, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to Quentin. Now, the whole discussion about, we'll get into that when we do our top 3. Well, we'll get a little more into that. It's just like, he was talking about, they brought up he said he only wants to do 10 films, like basically films that he directed. Like
Right.
it's 9 of them right now. He's written a lot of shit,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as like him, like Quentin Tarantino films, it's only 9,
Right.
and he's saying that he only wants to do 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was asking him like, what are some of your ideas or some of the shit that you want to do? And he was just basically saying that, even when, well, he had 2 answers, but he was just saying like, even when he quote unquote does a 10th film or whatever, he still was talking about he want to write books, and he want to write, he still want to do screenplays, and he still want to write plays. He said he's real big into writing plays right now.
Right.
And so he's not leaving the industry. It's just basically his films.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, and so they brought up, he was saying that the way, because he said it took him, it was either 7 or 8 years to write Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that this is really like my, quote unquote goodbye to Hollywood or whatever.
Right.
And there's 2 ways to look at it, because he was like, he counts the kill the same way I do. I count Kill Bill as one movie.
Yeah, it's like part 1, part 2.
Yeah, and the only reason he said that it was really Harvey who said it, because I guess Harvey kind of figured him out, was he was like, yo, this shit is way too long.
Yeah.
And he knew that Quentin didn't want to cut nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, yo, how about you do it in 2 parts, volume 1, volume 2.
Yeah.
And so that's how he ended up going about it. But Kill Bill was originally 1 film.
Right.
But they just, broke it up because he didn't want to cut nothing. Okay. So he was like, if I want to, he said, I can just say that Kill Bill was 2 films, and Once Upon a Time is my 10th film, and I'm done.
Yeah.
But he was just like, I consider it 1, so I'm really saying that, I got the 9 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so they talked about the idea of doing a Kill Bill 3.
No.
He brought up some he brought up some good ideas. Now we brought up the whole thing of just Vivica A. Fox's daughter. Mm-hmm. He brought up an idea. He was like, yo, I could go many ways. So you remember Go-Go?
Mm-hmm.
Right? He was like, yo, we don't know. Go-Go could have a twin sister.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he was just like, when he said he thinks about it, he was just like, I want to show, he said, because, Maya's in the industry now, she's blowing up. Mm-hmm. He was like, I can show like them just living life. You know what I mean? But then all of a sudden these people from the past start coming up, and he was just like, Go-Go could have a twin sister, and Go-Go could come after her. And then he was talking about somebody else. Like I think old girl got an eye poked out. No, it wasn't her. It was somebody. I forget who the other people were, but like he was just saying that the way that Hollywood is now, you know what I'm saying? I guess he kind of, I think he always felt he never like quote unquote like fitted in.
Right.
But like I think, because everything is so PC now.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was just like, yo, he was like, I've been in the industry 30 years. And he was like, he didn't want to be the person where he was like, he said that when you watch a lot of directors who's been in the game for over 30 years, he was like, they kind of already reached their peak. Like they like basically he was saying their films don't get better.
Yeah.
Like when you look at Scorsese, like a lot of people don't say that The Irishman was one of their favorite movies of Scorsese. No. They say a lot of his earlier shit was their favorite shit. And so he was like, he just kind of really want to leave the game kind of like on top, basically. So, I mean, I get what he's saying, but I think that his movies are so legendary that they're going to pass the test of time. So, absolutely. Like, I don't think that he needs to force more shit. But it was also great to hear that he still will be willing to keep writing screenplays and shit like that. So, and then with his relationship with Robert Rodriguez, like, they, you know what I'm saying? They still link up with each other. So it could be a situation where we still can get some Quentin Tarantino-esque type
Right.
shit. Like I think we still can get it, but you know what I'm saying? It'll be a part of his vision, but not his whole vision.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think for that 10th film, man, he should go down the horror lane or he should go in that sci-fi lane for one good time. You know what I'm saying? Just to have his own twisted vision, you know what I'm saying, on some shit. I think that would be nice. That would be a nice, you know what I'm saying, cap on everything. You know what I'm saying? To go ahead and send it off the, you know what I'm saying, sale. So usually we do the fire flames, but anytime we do an appreciation, we just do top three. So let's go ahead and get into that. You already mentioned it. What are your top three Tarantino films?
Okay, I'm doing a Quentin move, and I'm saying that the Kill Bills Volume One, Volume Two was one movie. So
Acceptable.
obviously, I got the Kill Bills. I just make it plural. Um, Pulp Fiction,
Mm-hmm.
and dude, I have a fascination with this movie, man. I really do. I love Death Proof, man.
Okay.
Death Proof is my joint, man. I don't know why I feel like it's kind of like slept on a little bit,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I think,
that's
I think a lot
definitely.
of those films in that like that grindhouse capsule is definitely slept on. Um, for me, it's definitely I don't have it in any order, but my top eh, I got a number one for sure. It's Inglorious Bastards. That's to me, I think that's the greatest Quentin Tarantino film I've ever seen. Um, I'm definitely going Dust Till Dawn. Great movie. Um, you know what I'm saying? He kind of went in that sci-fi type lane with the vampires and shit like that, which I
Mhm.
thought, you know what I'm saying, it was dope. We really didn't see anything else after that. But I really want to see something after that because I think he did a great job putting that together. Um, and then shit. Last but not least, I gotta go with Django, man. Django was I know it was supposed to be like in the Western style, but somehow, some way they made it a comedy. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how they
Mhm.
pulled it off, but that shit was funny as fuck to me. Django has moments where you are going to laugh hard as fuck, bro.
Yo, that's what. Come on, man. Sam had one of the all time. Yo, who that nigga on that neck?
No, for
Come
sure.
on,
But to
man.
me,
That is the all. Yo, that's
it
just.
is
Come on.
that's not even the funniest scene in the movie.
Uh,
The
to
funniest scene
me, it is.
is when them motherfuckers is riding around with the masks on, and that motherfucker
Oh.
stopped like I can't see out of this goddamn thing. He was like, can't we just ride with the mask off? And he was like, what did he say? He was like, what do you
Yeah,
mean? It takes away from the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're supposed to do. He was like, we ride with the mask on. He was like, no, he was like, I can't see either, man. He was like, yeah, I can't really see either. He was like, fine, we take the goddamn mask off. He was like, next time we wear the mask. He was like, fine, no mask. He was like, don't ask me and mine for nothing, you ungrateful sons of bitches. He was like, my
me and my wife at the
wife
time cutting hoes.
pillowcases. Yeah, he said, my wife stayed up all night cutting holes in pillowcases for you ungrateful sons of bitches. Don't ask me and mine for nothing. And motherfucker was like, hey, calm down, man. You know what I'm saying? he said, this time we won't wear the mask. He said, next time we'll wear the mask. He was like, criticize. That scene, that whole scene, bro. That's to me, that's the funniest fun. I don't know how they did it, but to take a scene like that, you and just the importance of that scene, like this is a scene where the Ku Klux Klan is riding down to kill a black man. Not only do they turn it into a comedy scene, but they turn it into a W for the black man because they set off dynamite to kill Ku Klux Klan members. So it's like everything about just everything about that scene just worked the way it was supposed to work. And I just think to me, man, that not it's not only the funniest scene, but it's one of my favorite scenes. But yeah, Django is definitely the other one, man. I gotta fuck with Django. Anytime I see it on, I gotta watch it, man. But yeah, that's Quentin Tarantino, man. That's what he does. He's gonna shock you. He's gonna throw a couple twists in there without you even knowing it, and he's also going to make you look at some shit a totally different way. Um, let's go ahead and get into the coming soon, bro.
Let's do it.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
All right, man. So the next episode we have is this a film?
Yes,
Called
it's a film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it's an
I'm
Apple TV Plus film.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one because I have no idea. I mean, I know kind of a little bit what it's about because you talked about it on what we watching before, but I haven't watched it yet. So that's all you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's starring Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry.
Hmm.
Jennifer Lawrence is basically not Vietnam, but a military vet ended up getting hurt in the line of duty, and she's trying to, get her strength back up so she can join back in. Like she want to go back active duty because she hate where she's from. Like she hate her whole life in New Orleans and all this type shit. So her whole thing is just basically getting back into the military. End up running into Brian Tyree Henry. He's dealing with the things that he's dealing with. But it's a film that's really kind of, you know, showing a person with PTSD, showing a person with, what I'm saying, dealing with personal issues, but you're seeing it through the lens of two different people who dealing with two different things. And what makes this movie stand out is just the fact that it's those two people.
Right.
Two people that are as good as they craft as they are.
Hmm.
Being in this Apple movie, you know, it's put it this way, the story's cool, but the acting by Brian and the acting by Jennifer take this shit to the next level. Let's put it that way.
Okay. So you guys buckle up, man. Get ready for the next episode, man. Causeway is this movie. If you have Apple TV, get on there, watch it now, or you can wait till we give you the review and you can go check it out for yourself. If you guys enjoy Quentin Tarantino movies, if you have a favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, or if you just have, a favorite moment of Quentin Tarantino, hit us up, let us know on the socials, on Instagram and Twitter or X, at View Anon Pod. You could also follow us on Facebook, VA Pod Watch Group. We also have a community on Twitter /X, Viewers Anonymous. We talk about movies and TV all day, so get your daily fix there. And if you are following the podcast, remember you can subscribe for $2.99 a month. You can get extra episodes that we have in store for you there. And if you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter or X at Scoots Brunson.
Yep, and y'all can follow me at s.foster8 on Instagram and X. Follow at 28 minutes or less pod. That's just on IG. Follow the podcast on all major platforms. 28 minutes or less. There's a new episode out called "Rooting for the Bad Guy," man. Episode 133. You know what I'm saying? I kind of centered the episode around the character Ray Donovan and the character Tony Soprano. Yeah, definitely go check that out, man. It was just, what I'm saying, it's one of those episodes I think you'll fuck with because, like I said, it's rooting for the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Rooting for the antagonist. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. I put something together. So go check that out on all major platforms.
That's what's up, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Your support never goes unnoticed. It's always greatly appreciated. But until the next episode, like they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.